Come on in, come on in, come on in. All geeks are welcome in this space. Let's learn together and seek his face. I'm Lem Filyaw, a.k.a. Bad Gamer Elite, your host for the Sound Maiden podcast, sponsored by LifePromotions.org. God Games and Geekery gives us an opportunity every month to chat about the crossroads of our passions and our faith. I can't wait to learn and discuss with you. Guys, I don't know if you looked, but this is the 60th episode of God Games and Geekery. Let me tell you, somebody's a little excited. Spoilers, it's me. It's me. I'm the one that's excited. That's me. Guys, oh man. Hey, I want to tell you something. There is this place in Appleton, Wisconsin called Press Start Games. And I want to give them a shout out. I want to give them a special little sponsor, a little talk. If you can make it to Appleton, Wisconsin, if you do, and when you do, you need to go to Press Start Games. Our boy Zach over there hooked us up in the G3 lair for LifeFest Oshkosh and LifeFest Music City for the G3 arcade. He gave us an amazing arcade. They gave us a Nintendo Switch to use. They gave us a Nintendo Wii and a classic NES. Guys, all of that for all that we do at G3. It's so amazing. Guys, go check over there. They have an amazing collection of classic and modern gaming. And if you are listening on Green Bay's Clear Hits Radio, I know you know where this is. Go give them a visit. Guys, we're gonna be hopefully I can get the okay to bring the G3 arcade to Quake this winter. Right? This winter and spring, guys. QuakeEvent.org. That's QuakeEvent.org. That's the plan for me to. I'm trying to get my way into there. I do a God Games and Geekery workshop, and sometimes they let me do stuff for the evening activity. So that's the plan. Oh, good Lord. So what have I been doing this month? Well, obviously, and of course, I'm playing Fortnite, but it's a little different. I am enjoying the season a little bit. I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. By the time this comes out, Dragon Ball Z I think it's going to be gone from the shop, but the season should not be over yet. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, but I do like some of the emotes and the glider that was available for it. But overall, enjoying the vibin' season. But you guys, I am up to 286 skins. They keep bringing them out that I really like. But what I've been really playing a lot of is Save the World. For those of you who don't know, that is what Fortnite always was at the beginning. It was the start of it. It's a player versus environment, kind of tower and defense / rescue missions and all this good stuff. It's actually really fun. You get to build up your character, augment your weapons. Oh, it's super cool. I am a level 191 there. And it's been recently that I've been doing it. And it is the reason that I am level 276 in Battle Royale, because you actually get Battle Royale points from playing Save the World. And then in Battle Royale, I usually take a top 5. I think my win percentage is like 14%, but I am usually top 5 in all of that. What else have I been doing? Well, I've been trying to get through some of my backlog on Steam and on PlayStation. I finished Knack. Just today I finished Knack. And that was a lot of fun. I don't know why it took me so long to get there. I will probably end up buying Knack 2, but I enjoyed Knack. And I have been playing a lot more on from my Steam library. And that's because I got my hands on a Steam Deck, you guys. I placed my order back last July. I got it at the beginning of August. And I have been going through some indies like crazy, finding some really fun ones, some that are make me think, some that are just cute. I've played Yono and the Celestial Elephants. That is so adorable. I haven't finished it yet, but it's adorable. It's fun. It's a puzzler. Hamsterdam. I just started that this morning. Hamsterdam. It gives me Saturday afternoon kung fu flick vibes. You guys, it is so cool. So cool. And then Indivisible. It is an RPG, turn-based RPG / platformer. Yeah. Go look it up. Indivisible. The Swords of Ditto is another one. Who knew that I would like a roguelite? I never thought I would. Never thought I would, but here we are. I'm loving one. And I'm also playing Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. That's right. Those of you who were at the G3 Lair in Oshkosh, your boy is playing Pokemon Online, as well as still collecting some cards and building a deck. I don't remember the young man who helped me put together a deck at Life Fest, but if you were listening, I completed that deck we were talking about. I got the energy cards, got a couple of extra cards to throw in there. I got that deck. Can't wait to show you that at Life Fest 2023. What else? What have I been watching? My family has been picking movies more and more recently, so we've been doing quite a few family movie nights. I think the other day we watched The Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline. I have one of my kids really likes the spookier stuff. I'm not a fan, but family time, that's what I was doing. She-Hulk, we as a family, we've been watching She-Hulk. I know there are some people that don't like it. I absolutely love it. The little bit that I know of She-Hulk from the movies, it's pretty accurate to that feel, where it's a little bit of a joke, a little bit of, just fun times. Yeah, she breaks the fourth wall. There are a few characters that do that. Of course, Deadpool does. But a lot of people are saying, oh, they're trying to do a Deadpool thing. No, she is doing a She-Hulk thing. That is what Jen Walters do. Matter of fact, I think next time I play Fortnite, I am going to be Jen Walters. I'm going to be She-Hulk. Let's do it. I've also been watching that show Swamp People. If you don't know Swamp People, it is about a community down in the swamps. I think most of them are in Louisiana, that hunt alligators. That's their job. There's alligator season, and they hunt alligators, and I am in love with this show. I watched half of the first season a long time ago, and I'm back to it. I dig it. Let's go. Loving it. What else am I doing? Well, I'm still working on my drawing. I completed my first drawing, and I say complete drawing because I did a character, I did an environment, I inked it, and I colored it. So I did my first complete one, and which felt really good. Am I where I want to be? No, but am I way past where I was 6 months ago? Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. In February, I was still telling myself I couldn't draw. Today, I'm saying I'm not drawing the way that I want to yet. So that's really great. And one of the things that I've done to help me in that is I started taking some Domestika courses. This is not sponsored by Domestika. Unless Domestika, you're listening and you want to sponsor the podcast, let's talk. I bought some courses from Domestika on creative drawing, drawing for beginners, drawing appealing characters. But here's the other thing about Domestika and what I'm getting from it. It's not just about drawing. I've also got some courses on time management. There's TikTok for creatives. There's illustrated bullet journaling, which that's what I've been doing to stay on top of everything, kind of keep the ADHD in control. And that the learning never stops, you guys. And that leads to, I just thought about this. Students, you guys are heading back to school, right? Some of you guys might be in school already. Some of you might be going back next week, or maybe you're, depending on when you're hearing this, maybe you're already back in school. And maybe you're at a new school. Maybe you've got some new classes going on. Maybe you've got new teachers. Maybe it's just old hat to some of you guys. And this month, you guys, I get to talk to an artist that I met at Music City. And we talked about, well, let's just say we're talking about taking you to school. All right. And I want you to take a listen to this conversation I had with this super cool, awesome guy. We hit it off immediately. And that'll be evident because this is going to be a longer show, a longer podcast than normal. Let's go talk to Mr. Cool, Bryson Maggard. What's up, everybody? I promised you, and you know I try to keep my promises as much as I possibly can. I promised you one of the most amazing folks that I met in Tennessee. Just like, seriously, we hit it off. It was a meet and greet, and we hit it off. We talked. We did some questions. It was a bucket of questions without the bucket of questions, and then we just started talking throughout the weekend, and we're walking and stopping and talking. Literally, a 3-minute walk took us 40 minutes. I want to bring to the table Mr. Bryson Maggard. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? It's so good to see your face. It feels like it's been forever. Like,
right?
Actually forever. And it's only been like a month or something like that.
A month. Really, really. This is
tragic.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I was telling some of my friends recently who are also in music, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. Like, I've never done an interview before, let alone a podcast interview. This is big boy stuff. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, trust. If you've been around here long enough, if you stick around long enough, you figure out, oh, yeah, you don't know what he's doing either.
None of us do. That's the secret. If any of you listening have ever wondered if, like, the big names have ever done anything and actually know what they're doing, none of us do. None of us do. On any level of professionalism, none of us have any idea, and we just keep hoping that it'll work out until we figure it out, which never happens.
We never figure it out. But it works. That's so weird.
Somehow it all works out. That's how we know the good Lord's watching out for us.
Love it. So why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what's your geek?
Okay. So like Lem said, my name's Bryson. I'm a musician by trade. I guess I've really just been like fully going at it for 3 or 4 years now. I went to college, got a degree, and I started playing in bands with some friends of mine. And kind of just by really crazy happenstance and a lot of really cool opportunities and blessings, I ended up playing with one of my best friends, Grayson Russell. And we got a call like less than a week before to show up for Life Fest in Nashville. And that's what I mean by crazy opportunities. Like I was in Italy with my family, and Grayson calls me and goes, "Hey, red alert, can you call me back?" And if you know Grayson well enough to know that's not there's no drastics with him. So I was panicking, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna do Life Fest." We're like, blah, blah, blah. And we all got so hype, and we drove out to Nashville and did it, and it was the coolest thing ever. and we loved it so much, and we got to meet some awesome people like you and so many other amazing people, the promoters and all the staff and the volunteers and stuff were just so cool. It was a blast, and that's what I do. I do music. I play in some wedding bands, and I do my own stuff solo, and then I record whenever I can on stuff. Trying to make it. But man, I'm like a really boring geek. I do all the typical stuff. Like when I was a kid, I was super into Marvel and DC, and I've always had trouble picking between the two.
Okay.
I actually have sitting in my house back in Knoxville. I think they're called the vaults or something like that, and it's like the history of the comics from production. So like the Human Torch and Namor back in the day for Marvel, and so like I went way in, and then I learned in college something very interesting about myself, which is I have the capacity to be geeky about anything, but it is always in spurts, and it destroys my life for that spurt. So like when I got into if I get into a game, it's literally all that consumes my life until I have consumed every physical piece of media that I can with it. I've looked at every YouTube tutorial, like all of it. So comics, movies, books, games, you name it. Like if I decide that this is my life for the next 3 months, it becomes it. So like I loved Marvel and DC. I loved, like, one of my birthday presents when I was a kid was going to see the first Avengers movie in theaters. And I'll never forget that day. That was like when I knew superheroes movies were going to be a regular thing.
Yes.
And it was just like brain explosion. I grew up loving the Batman movies. I actually have a very special place in my heart for both Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I will defend them to the grave. Joel Schumacher made a comic book movie. It was goofy, but it was so good.
Batman
George
and Robin
Clooney.
was so goofy.
It was so goofy, but that's why I love it.
Yeah,
that's
man.
why I love it. It's so bad. It's
the
so
closest
incredibly
thing that
bad.
We got to like the 60s, 70s
Adam West stuff,
Adam West stuff. Because
and
was so goofy too.
It was so goofy, man. And that's the thing too. I got really lucky that I was raised on like a very wide palette of stuff.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, my dad grew up on the Adam West stuff. And so we have a copy of like the movie that they did.
Yes. Yes.
And
the
like
shark
my brother,
repellent, the
shark repellent. That's right. That's right. That's right. And the submarine that like has little flippers that flip behind them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. And then I did video games too. Like we were a Nintendo household. Very strict Nintendo household.
There will be no Sega here.
There was no Microsoft. Nah, that's right. That's right. No Microsoft, no PlayStation, none of that until I was in like high school, and that was after many years of begging. But hardcore GBA family, and we got the Nintendo Wii and played the snot out of that thing. I still have that. I think I own all of my... I'm really bad about getting rid of things. I think I still own all of the consoles I've ever had in my life.
Yes!
Except my original Game Boy. But I got a replacement for like $5 because they're so cheap now.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is my probably favorite game of all time. I have played it like 7 times through.
Wow.
I love it so much. And one of the first things you said to me, actually, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were doing the Versus book thing.
Oh yeah.
You were like, I said something. I don't remember what I said. I was probably trying to be funny and it wasn't working. And I said something, and you were like, "You play RPGs." I loved it. I was like, caught. But I do delve into them, and I would say the only experimentation I got into in college was I tried D&D for a little while.
Yeah.
And that's the farthest I ever got into it.
Yeah.
But like the old school video games and stuff, Skyrim consumed my life.
Oh.
Borderlands.
Is there ever an end to Skyrim? I gotta know. I started it, didn't get very far.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the hard part. When they give you all these options when you start out, like you have the different races you can be, the different like class-based stuff. It's amazing, and it's so cool, and you feel like you're doing this unique thing, and then you beat the game or like the main story, and you're like, where do we go from here? So then you'll kind of piddle around doing some stuff, and then you're like, well, I guess we should just start over. And you do a whole nother playthrough of like a whole new race, a whole new class-based thing. You try like, instead of magic, I'm gonna do double-wielded swords or whatever. My brother is the one that like got way more into it than I have. I think he's played through Skyrim to completion of the main story like 7 times, plus all of the DLCs and stuff. Yeah, he is a dedicated boy,
bro.
But he refuses to play Oblivion, which is mind-boggling to me. I don't know. But there is an end if you can make yourself stop.
So
if you can convince yourself,
the only way to end the game is to stop playing.
If you can stop, because like I had just the bare bones Skyrim for years.
Yeah.
And then after the PS3 kind of became obsolete, well, it's not obsolete, but like it became much cheaper to get stuff for. We got the version with all of the DLC on it, and I was like, oh, they're pulling me back in. And so then it was like another 50 hours or something of like 2 side campaigns that take forever to beat, and they're amazing.
Side campaigns, 50 hours.
It may not actually be that much, but it was a lot. It felt like to me anyway. And I was home on break during school at that time.
Yeah.
So I would like wake up on Saturday mornings and be like, all right, it's time to go. And just like hardcore as much time as I could spend on it, breaking for bathroom breaks and food. And then, because I was like, I've got a week and I'm home.
Yeah.
So I'll take time with the family for 3 days, and then it's my day. It's my day, man. I've got to do it.
All right. So we've talked about a couple of games. Now, was there anyone in particular, maybe it was Skyrim with your brother, but were there any games in particular that you're like, man, I want to learn it, but it's so intimidating. Maybe I don't even want to start.
Dude, yes, there are a lot of those for me, because I think I got so like into one lane of games when I was younger, and I think there's this thing in your head of like the nostalgia of what you grew up playing that makes something different feel harder to get into, harder to learn, all that stuff.
Right.
So, oh man, what is it called? It's like XCOM or something like that.
Oh
maybe?
yeah, the strategy, real-time strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like space age stuff or whatever. My college roommate loved that game, and he was like, dude, I'm gonna install it on Steam, you've got to try it. And he showed me how like it works and stuff. I'd never was able to really attempt it. It was just so difficult. And another one that I had always heard about and was so paranoid about trying that I just did recently was I got on my Switch the Knights of the Old Republic port. And I've been playing through that. And it's a totally different style of like combat and gear-based stuff than I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm used to pressing the button and like swinging the sword and all that other stuff, as opposed to I guess like League of Legends style stuff where you just it lets it roll the numbers and you win or you lose.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenge, but I've been enjoying it a lot. I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd too, so like just being on Endor or wherever, and you're just like, oh, this is so cool. There's a looking hair. That game, The Force Unleashed, that is like one of my quintessential ones. But again, to show how lame I am, I had it on the Wii, and that was the version I grew up playing.
That's okay. That's good.
But I didn't know. I remember I'd go on YouTube and see videos of like, you can kill Luke, and I'm like, what? What do you mean you can do that, or whatever it was, and hunting Han Solo and Chewie and stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? I never did that on my version. And then I had a buddy who sold me his Xbox when I was in college, and I was like, dude, this is the best version I've ever played. It's so good, dude. It's so good. But I think there definitely are styles of games that can really derail your brain and just feel like it's unachievable. But I've always tried to at least be willing to try it. I'll try anything once. And so, like, I tried Apex Legends for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it, but it was so difficult, and I'm
Right.
so bad at it. It's not like the Black Ops lobbies when I was a kid. It's totally different.
No, it absolutely is different. I've tried it once,
Mm.
once, and that was it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because there's a thing about taking these games or even
Mhm.
like someone that might not know the Star Wars lore, and there's the because the Star Wars community is so open and loving, and everybody accepts everyone's opinions on everything.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, my opinion of the prequels being great has never been criticized ever.
um, it's just like, how as a geeky community can one
Mm.
say like, all right, well, I have all of this knowledge, and without being condescending,
Yeah.
come to someone, let's say like me, that doesn't know how to do the things in Star Wars or where to start in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or like Fortnite. Like,
Yeah.
I started playing Fortnite. I had no idea what I was doing in the
Mhm.
or like day one. Fortnite was save the world, and
Wow.
no clue what I was doing, so I threw it away. I not throw it away, but I just put it off to the side.
Yeah.
My account wasn't ever used. Then I would go back in every now and then and play a game to get something free or whatever.
Yeah.
And then in Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 4, they brought in a bunch of Marvel stuff, and they got me hooked.
Right. Yeah.
So
The
I said-
crossover stuff is insane.
Right?
Uh
But how do we
It's
do
crazy.
that? How do we bring someone
Mm.
in without
Well, I feel
being
like-
condescending and such?
Yeah, dude. No, I think it's an important question to ask in any field, but especially like as it pertains to, geeky stuff in general. Like even if you're just talking about like, Marvel crossovers, well, what if someone's never played Fortnite and never seen a Marvel movie and da 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 da,
Yeah.
the list could go on and on. And it's kind of interesting cuz like Fortnite was never one that I got into cuz I feel like I was too old at the time to
Yeah.
get into it, which is stupid. But at the time, I just didn't know any better. And the only people that I knew that were playing it were like my older friends' kids
Yeah.
or like kids that I used to babysit and stuff. And I was like, this is the thing the kids do nowadays. Where
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And so it's kind of interesting. I'm having to think about this, and I'm a persona non grata to Fortnite myself. So like, I think I have had friends that are really encouraging about new things, especially that we went to college together, and it was like, hey, I do Greek life. You don't have to do Greek life. That's not your thing. But you can come to a Rush party and you can hang out, and it'll be super cool. And I think that those like social endeavors are so encouraging because like just reaching out a hand and saying like, hey, I understand you don't get this.
Yeah.
Like this is not your thing, and that's perfectly fine. But I really enjoy this, and I think that you might too. So on a small level, so like especially for Fortnite or something, just have someone come over and like just sit beside you on the couch and see how it works.
Yeah.
And then go, you want to hop in? And they'll do terrible. I would do terrible. I guarantee it. It's like the first time I tried Apex or PUBG, I was like, I was
PUBG.
dead in 5 seconds.
PUBG. Ugh.
And it happened so fast that I was literally like, did I win? Like, I don't know what happened.
There's no way I
just-
could have lost.
I am so great. Like, I am so good at games. My KDR in COD used to be like 1 to 17 or something. Like, I was
Wow.
so good. But I think having like any engagement can help so much in encouraging, and also just like not forcing it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Not forcing someone to do something that they don't want to, because you get so excited. If you really love something, you get so excited and it hypes you up, and you get so hyped just talking about it. And then sometimes, like, I've done this about music stuff where, like, I'll be turned on to an artist, and I'll be like, oh, you guys have to listen to them. This album's so good. This album's so good. You gotta listen. And then I've even been I've been in situations where we're in the car and, like, we'll just hijack auxes from each other and be like, no, we're gonna listen to this song and just play it and be like, you're gonna sit back and you're gonna enjoy this, all right? And I'm like, in retrospect, that's the worst, because sometimes it works out and they're like, oh, this is so good, we're gonna love it now. But then most of the time it's like, if you're, and forcing is obviously a strong word, but forcing
highly
it on them, highly suggestive content. But especially in like a personal relationship, you know, it can do a lot of it can just make things kind of awkward sometimes, because it's like, are you gonna make me come to this thing? Are you gonna make me go with you to wherever you're going? And it's like, no, you can come if you want, or not, it doesn't matter to me. And that freedom to choose is like super, super important for me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And how does this translate over to our faith? Because, you know, as a Christ follower, I'm super geeky about Christ, right? And
which is not a bad thing.
And the freedom that he's given me, and my relationship. Say, like, I say I'm super geeky about Christ, but like I'm not a history knowledge, you know, that guy.
You weren't a theology major.
That's the thing. Not a theology major.
Neither was that.
But I love my relationship that I have with Christ, and I want people to know.
Yeah.
So how does that translate?
Man, it's like the story of my life, honestly. Like, I grew up in church, and I grew up in a very, I don't want to say restrictive, because I don't think that's necessarily the right word, but very conservative upbringing, you know, like a lot of people did. And I'm very grateful for the way that I was raised, in a lot of ways. But then I've also had bad experiences in church, just like everybody else. Church hurt is like a trigger word for most people now. Yeah. But it's true. It's a very real thing. And then I went even further and went to a Christian college after that. And that was what I needed in my life, and that was ultimately good for me, but it's not a great choice for everybody. And I don't always say, like, you have to go to a Christian school or anything like that. But all of that to say, it is so incredibly important in pursuing a faith life, to have people around you that are just accepting and welcoming. And, you know, I got very, 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 very lucky through playing music, actually, to get plugged into some churches that are incredibly wonderful people and incredible musicians as well, and just the kindest people on the planet. And when you have the head pastor who is willing to stay 30 minutes after the service is done and be late to his lunch with his family, or he'll go, hey, do you just want to come to lunch with us? And take you to lunch just to keep talking about questions you might have, or just to encourage you on your faith and things like that. And as someone that has gone through hills and valleys of my own in my faith, just like everybody has, obviously, but still being young and like young enough in my really pursuing my faith to really still feel like I'm coming out of seasons and stuff. I have learned that with friends of mine who might have questions, or even friends of mine that are like agnostic, let's say. And that's a whole bag of worms, man. Being in a Christian school, being an agnostic, you know. There's lots of stuff that comes with that. And being able to be a person myself who can go, okay, we don't have to talk about faith if you don't want to. Not a bit. Or we don't, like, we can have differing opinions. Like, that's perfectly okay.
Absolutely.
And I think that accepting, and I know people like to say the love the sinner, hate the sin thing, but I'm talking about purely accepting someone as a being that God made, wholly unique, that he loves just as much as he loves you and me. And accepting them for the person that they are, and saying, I love you in spite of anything that you might do, because I want to treat you like Christ would treat me and anybody else. And saying that you can have whatever opinion you want, and we can disagree about them and have healthy, holistic discussion. Because I feel like the culture right now, not just in the public sphere, but sometimes even in religious context, it just gets hostile really quick. To me. And it's like, man, I don't think that that's what was communicated. I mean, I haven't read the Bible cover to cover, like consistently, but I'm pretty sure it was love your neighbor. Like, I don't think it was yell at your neighbor and tell them that they're wrong.
93% sure.
93.2% sure.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous because, like, again, like, everybody's so unique and everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and that's really cool. That's really, really cool. And I think that it's awesome to have people that can be like, well, have you ever thought about this? So, like, I actually knew someone who had a very in-depth, like, 45-minute PowerPoint ready of why he thought this thing about the Bible that was not necessarily how I was raised. And I was like very curious and was like, well, why do you think that? And he had this whole thing ready. Not everybody is that way.
No.
And faith is a day-to-day thing.
Yes, it is.
and it's not always easy, and it's not always easy to feel like you're on top of it, and that some days it's just hard. It's just hard sometimes. But the important thing is to look at the journey. That's what I've had to learn, is looking at the journey on a holistic level, as opposed to whatever little window that you're in at the moment. So, like, I'm in my mid-20s and I'm not making a lot of money, and da 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 da, and I live with my parents, and all of the things that they always said was going to happen if I went to school to be a music major. But I have, on the holistic scale, went from so scared to do anything on my own when I was in high school, and I was so depressed, and I was blah 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 blah, to being able to meet someone at a festival and talk to them for an hour, and then say yes to coming onto a podcast. Like, social anxiety me from being 16 to 23 would literally, like, be crapping his pants thinking about what I'm able to do now because of, like, growth and things like that.
And you're doing
so
great, by the way. Just gonna throw that out there. And how many of these have you done?
0.
Guys, we're Bryce's first podcast interview.
Yeah, baby. We'll take it. And I'll be a recurring guest however often anybody wants me.
You heard it. We have it. It's documented.
It's documented. But, man, I'm just, like I said, I'm also just incredibly grateful, because I have a mom and dad who are very sweet and love me very much and have encouraged me, as opposed to disciplining me. Not disciplining me, that's the wrong word. They've encouraged me to ask questions and make my own decisions, especially now that I'm older and, like, went to school, and they were like, you're going to college. We will see you X amount of times in a semester. You have to make these decisions yourself. You have to wash your own clothes, like all this stuff. And it was up to me to do that and to learn things about myself. And then this crazy little blip in the map called COVID happened. And I went from a ridiculously packed schedule to like I was in an ensemble in school. We were on the road 2 weekends out of the month, if not more. And it was amazing. And then COVID happened, and we had literally just gotten off of tour.
Oh, wow.
And got off the bus, and I was home within a week. And then that week turned into a month, and then we're not coming back to school because things have, escalated as they did. And so then I was home, but I didn't want to do anything for 6 months, and I couldn't talk to my friends face to face, and I couldn't see anybody, and I was scared to go see relatives because I have elderly relatives. And it was just okay, well, you're stuck with you and your thoughts again, and you thought you weren't going to have to do that for a while, so why don't you just deal with all these deep, dark little things inside of you and grow as a person, as opposed to just sitting and mellowing in all of your teenage angst into your 20s. And it was horrible some days, and it was really good in others. And ultimately, it taught me a lot about how I deal with everything, but particularly with God and my relationship, and how I best can do my day-to-day faith without relying on stigma or what other people say you are or aren't supposed to do, and learning how my relationship with God can grow best, because that's how I needed to grow in that season, as opposed to, some random person saying, well, if you just do this 7 times a day, your relationship with God will just deepen. It really will. And for some people it might, but for me, that was not the case.
Yeah.
So I try to encourage people to look within themselves, absolutely be willing to seek out help and talk to people, because that is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also look within yourself and look to God and be willing to listen. And it's a lot. It's a lot of things to say randomly, but I guess that might get the point across. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you did, sir. I think you did. So here's another question. Where can people find you? There are, tens of people listening right now.
Hey, listen, that's my same figures, man. So listen, if we put our tents together, by golly, we might get 100 one day.
But they're listening right now that are I want to hear more from him. Where can people find you?
I'm on most every social platform. I think my handle, you should be able to just search my name, Bryson Maggard, on most socials. It's the number is the handle most of the time is Bryson264, which is a really terrible play on words that is an inside joke with my family on a misheard lyric when I was a kid.
Okay.
And it became my username for everything.
Nice.
It's great. And it was great for my parents.
In our Discord, you guys.
That's right.
You just joined the Discord?
I did, and was very warmly welcomed, and I'm very grateful for everybody who said hi. But yeah, you can find me on all the socials. That's where I'm most active. I'm still learning Discord. I'm very new to this whole world of things. I'm actually in a Discord for a music based thing.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad because they'll message about something, be like, "Hey guys, we'd love to hear from you," and then I'll see that 2 weeks later, and I'm like,
"Oh, I'm very into Discord," and that still happens.
Yeah, I don't understand how it works yet. I feel like I'm 85 years old trying to learn how to do a flip phone, but it's coming along. But yeah, I reach out on any platforms that you may find me on. Instagram's probably my most active, but I'm on Twitter, and yeah, that's pretty much it. What I mostly use.
All right, awesome sauce. And I want to make sure that I do an open invitation for you to join us in Fortnite, because we've been doing a lot of Save the World lately.
Yeah.
And we will totally take you and teach you what we know. I'm still learning, much like in my faith. I'm still learning, but I'm far enough that I'm taking a few more of my friends with me. So
that's awesome. Well, I listen. When I decide to take that plunge, you'll be the first one I call, and you can show me how silly I am at games. Because let me tell you, if you thought I was entertaining like in person, you wait till you see me trying to figure out how to play a game. It doesn't work. I have this magical talent for breaking them. I don't know how.
Oh, bro,
Like,
same.
I
You know how many times I broke
literally.
Disney Infinity?
See, for
All
me, it was
three of them.
Skylanders.
See?
It was Skylanders, but
I-
same difference. Yeah.
absolutely.
I had this James Bond game for the GameCube, and there's this mission where you're driving on a bike and you're trying to like catch a train, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, my brother and I were just like playing it late at night or whatever, and I just clipped through a mountain. And there's not even really mountains that you can clip through. I don't know. I don't know how.
But you did it.
I found it and then was like under the map or something. It was crazy. And then, and the best part is, if I try to do stuff, it doesn't happen. I'm like, you got to see this. I did this thing. Like, and they're like, okay, do it again. Doesn't happen. But then I'll be by myself, or I'll just be like trying to do something legitimately.
Yes.
Like, I almost couldn't beat Assassin's Creed because the ending kept breaking and it kept like glitching me through, and it would like kill me, and I'd have to start the whole ending fight over with cutscenes and everything.
Oh,
it was
no.
the worst because my magical talent just kept appearing out of nowhere. I was like, what is going on? And I ended up like Googling it over and over because I'm watching the cutscene for the 35th time,
Yeah.
like quoting the dialogue as it's happening, trying to figure out what's going on. It's the worst, but great for entertainment value for people to laugh at me because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. We love you, and we can't wait to hear from you again.
Dude, thank you so much. Legitimately, thank you so much for having me. It means so much. And I say this on behalf of all of the guys that you got to hang out with.
Yeah.
Out in Nashville. We love you guys so much, and it was so refreshing and so awesome to be with you then and today. And definitely look forward to doing something like this again.
Absolutely. And yeah, let them know if they want to pop on. We'd love to have them.
Dude, you know Grayson loves to talk. So. he won't be far behind.
Awesome sauce. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, you guys. Bryson, thank you so much for sharing with us, hanging with us. I love talking to this guy. Expect to hear more from him. I want to throw out a definition. All right, a quick definition for you guys. A follower or student of a teacher, leader, or philosopher. Can you guess what that is the definition of? If you said disciple, you are absolutely correct. If you did not say disciple, you were not reading the same definition that I did. But yeah, guys, I've been following this guy on YouTube because, like I said, I've been playing a lot more Save the World, and just so I can learn more about it. His name on there is Beast. Now, I didn't find him on my own, and if I did, his info vids are so vast and so chock full of content, I would totally get lost. But thankfully, my buddy Bit Cyanide online helped me find him and gave me some first steps of the videos I should watch and those steps I should take. So now I'm doing the same for some of my friends that are starting in Save the World. And even some of those that have been playing Save the World longer than I have taken some of this knowledge and this understanding of it. And if you think about it, that really sounds a lot like Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 19, that says, "Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit." Guys, and here's the thing. Discipleship or mentoring, as we probably know it more today, isn't only in the New Testament. Exodus 18 shows us Jethro mentoring Moses in delegation. Eli raised Samuel to be a priest of the Hebrews in 1 Samuel chapter 1 through chapter 3. And the list goes on and on and on and on. We can look to the word for how to disciple those who need it, as well as seek out those who could take us to school on our faith. So this month, let's focus on continuing the learning of the word, as well as linking arms with those that may need our help in this. And Life Promotions is linking arms with 9-month mission trip. If you go to either or any of your app stores, you're going to find 9-month mission trip. And it's for students and those who have students in our lives, which pretty much are all of us, that it's a tool for you to get information, for adults in your lives to get information on how to bring Jesus along with you to school. As a matter of fact, you might see and hear a voice and a face you might know from the streams in the app. Go check it out. Spoilers, it's me. Guys, you can find us all over the interwebs. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram as God Games Geekery. We have a Facebook page for the adults, right? Because you guys are on the Facebooks for God Games and Geekery. You can email me, badgamer@lifepromotions.org. That's badgamer@lifepromotions.org. Just to say hi. Even. I will take it. You can find us on Twitch as God Games and Geekery. Spell it out. God Games and Geekery. And join us on Tuesdays for Study Buddy, Wednesdays for Faith and Film, and Thursdays for Gaming with Friends or just Geeky with Friends. I say that because this Thursday we might be doing something a little different. All right. If you're listening on a podcast platform where you can write a review, please do that. Please do that. I'm not sure how it helps, but it does. I mean, we reached the top 10 spot, top 5 spot in one of the podcast places that we're in because you guys did a thing. So do the thing. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, leave people better than you found them because you were geeky and you were loved.